Welcome in to our final day of doing ACC win totals. We'll start the Big 12 tomorrow. Went all the way from the lowest win total. We went to the highest. We're at the Clemson Tigers. We're doing the big dogs today. We're at the Clemson Tigers today. How we're going to do this, we're going to go through the schedule. I'm going to say the wins. I'm going to say the losses. I'm going to give the most likely number, the most likely outcome of wins they're going to get. That's going to sway us to an over or under. I'm going to say how much I like it, if I'm betting it or not. Yes, I know I'm going no hat today. I need a haircut. Don't got to say it. I'm just a little nice. Yes. Clemson Tigers today. This is a team that defense-wise is going to be really good, right? They're built in the trenches, this team. Defensive line is their specialty. They've had a lot of great prospects on the defensive line recently. Dabo's going to be Dabo. There's just a lot of question marks for me on this team. A lot of concerns for me on this team. I'm not crazy about Cade Klubnik. I don't think Cade Klubnik's now had a little bit of time to show me something. He hasn't shown me he's superstar next level talent. The defensive depth, the depth on this team because they don't use the portal. The defensive depth is a little scary to me. So that kind of has me a little pause. Later in the season, I think they can get tripped up if they get some injuries, which could very well happen. It is football at the end of the day. But let's go through the schedule. Week 1, they're at Georgia. They're about 13.5-point dogs. They're going to lose that game. Georgia's known, too, for just blowing teams out, especially in the big non-con games week 1. They blew out Oregon a couple years ago. I think they come in here and they blow out Clemson here, and Clemson starts to 0-1. Bye week 2, week 3, they're home for Appalachian State. That's a win. This team's 1-1. Week 4, home for NC State. I think that is a win as well. They're 2-1. Week 5, they're home for Stanford. That's a good time to get Stanford, especially home. They are 3-1. Week 6, on the road at Florida State. I don't think Florida State is all that good as they were last year. They lost a lot of production. But it's going to be a tough one to win on the road in Florida State. I'm taking Florida State there. I think this team's 3-2, and we might have some concern about this team at this point. Week 7, they're on the road at Wake Forest. I have that as a win. I think that those teams just, a team like Wake Forest just doesn't stack up to a team like Clemson. 4-2. Week 8, home for Virginia. It's also a win. They're 5-2 into their second bye week. Week 10, home for Louisville. I think that is a win. I just don't think the offense is strong enough for Louisville, and I ultimately think Clemson will pull that one out. So they move to 6-2. Week 11 at Vautech. A lot of people like Vautech. I think that one does have some upset potential written on it, and it is later in the season. They could be down some players, Clemson, which could also scare me. But I'm going to take the win here for them. They're rolling now here. They're 7-2. Week 12 at Pitt. I think Pitt could be better as well later in the season. I don't love the spot also here for Clemson. I'm going to take it as a win, but I don't love it. They're 8-2. Week 13, home for the Citadel. That's obviously a win. They're 9-2. And then week 14, it's the rivalry game. They're home for South Carolina. I actually have it as a loss right now. I think by that time they're going to be really beat up. It's a rivalry game, and it's an SEC team. I actually have it as a loss. Now, you might have that as a win, but I think they lose one of those 3 games. I think they either lose at Vautech, at Pitt, or home for South Carolina. So ultimately, I have 9-3. The win total is 9 for the Clemson Tigers. I lean under just a tiny bit more. So I'm taking the under. I'm obviously not betting it. I think 9-3 is what we're going to get. I am pretty confident that's what they're going to get. Is 9-3 good enough to get into the ACC championship game? I actually don't think so. It's going to come down to the Florida State game, in my opinion. If they could beat Florida State on the road, I think they'll get into the championship game. If they don't, I don't think they'll get in. Ultimately, I got 9-3. I lean 8-4 is more likely than 10-2. I think it's. I think that because they can very well lose to Vautech on the road. I think they can lose to Pitt on the road, and then the South Carolina game. It's tough games, in my opinion. I think it's more likely they do lose 2 out of 3 than win all 3. And then still hold on to everyone else that we've already said as a win. 9 is most likely number. I lean under. And you can come at me in the comments and you roast me in the comments. I'm not that confident. This arguably, my opinion, might be one of the hardest win totals to pick in the conference just because we're on the number. right? The number's 9. I'm on the number. Now, you can look at the odds. There is a 9.5 out there. I wouldn't play the under just because it would be minus 170. And there is an 8.5 out there, but the over is minus 170. So I wouldn't play any of those. 9, you could play and hope for a push, I guess. I think it's going to be a push. I just don't bet it when it's a single number, and I think that's the most likely outcome. To me, that's just not worth it. Not betting it, but I do lean under for the Clemson Tigers. Hopefully, they don't have too many injuries, and if they do, the wheels could fall off at the back end. They could drop 2 out of 3 of those games that I said instead of maybe 1. But otherwise, I'm Josh Whitney. If you want more ACC win total videos, hit my channel, go to the playlist, watch those videos, hit subscribe while you're at it. I'm Josh Whitney. Thank you.